As an introvert, one of the things that you probably dread hearing the most is, what's your opinion? Tell me what you think about that. When your boss comes up to you and asks you to deliver a talk at your presentation, that's in 2 minutes. Why is it that we hate thinking on our feet? Well, the truth is our brains are just not geared that way. We need time to prepare our thoughts. It's very hard for our deep thinking brains to switch gears when we're thinking about what that person is saying and how to respond to it. We rely on long-term memory, the way we store, process, and retrieve memories. And all of this combined really is based on how our brains are made up. And there's nothing we can do about it. When someone asks us for an opinion and we need to think on our feet, it really is extremely hard for us to do that. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 tools that are going to better equip you to think on your feet. So the next time your boss comes up to you and asks you opinion and you need to think on your feet, you'll be better equipped to do so. First, let me just tell you a quick story. So a couple of years ago, my wife and I went to a property convention. It turned out that the speaker was phenomenal. I mean, she was truly remarkable. She was funny, she was engaging, she was able to keep us entertained for the full 2 days. The next day, I was talking to my wife, and this was during breakfast, and she overheard us talk, came up to us and introduced herself. And I told her, I really remarked of how incredible I thought she was as a speaker and how I'd love to be able to speak like her one day, especially because I was an introvert. And she said something to me that really changed my life. And she said that she was herself an introvert, and a few years prior to that, she decided that she also wanted to improve her public speaking skills. And at that point, she decided to join Toastmasters. And during that journey while she was in Toastmasters, she volunteered at every single table topics session. Now, for those of you who don't know, table topics is essentially a part in Toastmasters where you have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. But here's the kicker, is that you don't have any time for preparation. So you basically assigned a random topic and you've got to present for 2 minutes in front of a random group of strangers. So what she did was, at every single meeting that she was part of, she put her hand up and volunteered to speak. And that allowed her to practice that think on your feet muscle that helped her to become a really remarkable communicator. And from there on in, I joined Toastmasters and I decided that I was also going to do the same thing. And I volunteered at every moment that I could. It really helped to sharpen my skills and help me to become better at thinking on my feet. Now, I'm not saying that you need to join Toastmasters in order to become a better communicator, but it certainly is one of the things that I recommend, which is really to find a safe and supportive community that enable you to practice your thinking on your feet. So yes, Toastmasters is a great place to do that, but you don't necessarily have to join an environment like that. Within your workplace or within your social circle, potentially mention to someone that you trust that you are trying to get better at thinking on your feet, and let them give you feedback on how you're doing. Because not only will they be able to provide you with feedback, but they also help hold you accountable on this journey that you're undertaking. The next one is to prepare in advance. And I know that sounds like a paradox, preparing in advance, especially given the fact that we're talking about thinking on your feet. But there are great ways that enable you to do that, because very often we are attending meetings and we know that someone's going to ask our opinion and we're going to need to share a point of view. So what you can do in advance of those sort of engagements is just to write down a couple of points around what your thoughts are before you actually go into that meeting. And that allows you in the session to be able to express your thoughts and to be able to articulate yourself in a way that you know is congruent with what your thoughts are and what you actually want to say. The third is really to take your time, because you have a real gift that extroverts don't have, is being able to think about what you want to say before you actually express it. And that really is a key difference in how introverts and extroverts communicate differently, because extroverts have to talk out loud in order to process their thinking, whereas introverts think about what they want to say before they actually verbalize it. So use that to your advantage, because when someone asks you what you want to say, don't feel that you need to respond in an extroverted way and be hugely animated. But really what you want to do is take your time, collect your thoughts, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with just pausing for a couple of seconds to collect your thoughts before you actually speak. That really gives you permission so that you don't immediately need to launch into what you want to say immediately as soon as someone's asked you the question. Know that you have a couple of moments for you to think about what you want to say, how you want to say it, before you actually express yourself. The fourth is to hold what you say lightly. Because unless you're speaking in front of a televised audience or you're in a deposition, what you're saying doesn't have to be taken as set in stone, because you can change your mind and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So if you say something and later on you realize that actually I didn't really mean that, and you can go back to whoever it is, be it your boss, be it a friend, be it a coworker, and just let them know, now that you've had the time to process through your thoughts in a little bit more detail, you actually have this point of view, and there's nothing wrong with that. Very often what I'll do is I will either go back to that person and let them know that I've seen it from a different angle, or what I could say to them there and then is say to them, listen, I just need some time to collect my thoughts and I'll get back to you either by the end of the day or tomorrow. And I can tell you, people never have an issue with that. Fifth is the spotlight effect. Spotlight effect is a term that social psychologists use to refer to our tendency to overestimate how much people actually notice about us. In other words, we feel like we're in the spotlight all the time, highlighting our mistakes or flaws for the world to see. Research indicates that people notice these things less than we actually realize. In fact, a study where university students went to class with an embarrassing t-shirt on them, and they thought that everyone had noticed what they were wearing, when in fact only 25% of individuals noticed, and they were trying their hardest to stand out with the shirt that they were wearing. The next time you mess up or say something you don't mean, don't worry, because you're probably overestimating the degree to which people noticed what you said or what you did. So those are the 5 tools that are going to equip you to be able to think better on your feet, whether you want to become a better public speaker or whether you just want to become better at being able to articulate your thoughts. Of course, that there's nothing wrong with the way you think and the way you communicate. But there are instances where being able to share your point of view or your opinions are going to be beneficial to you. And don't forget not to judge yourself too harshly. Apply these tips, practice, and you will be able to get better at thinking on your feet. I'll see you in the next video.